Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel. This is the third and the final part in the video series on how to conditionally aggregate data in Tableau using fixed LODs and table calculations. If you haven't watched the first two parts, I would request you to do so because in this tutorial I'm going to extend upon what I've already built in the first two parts. Before venturing on the journey, let me start with a quick recap of what we have done in the first two parts. So I started with a dataset from Kaggle, which is the review of women's clothing from an e-commerce website. We looked at the data fields and I started with categorizing the ratings from a scale of 1 to 5 to positive, neutral and negative reviews. Then we wanted to tag these departments as star departments or not based on the percentage of positive reviews, and our criteria for being a star department was a positive review of more than 50%. So we did all the calculations for that using both table calculations and fixed LODs, and in this tutorial I'm going to build upon that and also finish my goal of showing a text message like this quarter are so for us, dresses and tops are the star departments as per our data. So I wanted to build this kind of a message, and this sort of messages are useful, be it executive dashboards or organization magazines. It serves as a header information very nicely. So what I'm going to do is I will be dividing this message into two parts. So the first part is this static text message, which is going to remain static. There's not going to be a variation in it, but the department names will be flexible because if you understand, it's going to be changing as we progress over time. So this part has to be catered on separately. So I'll show you two solutions for it. One is a very easy solution and the other one is a bit complicated. So depending on your particular needs, you can use one or the other. So let's get started. So the first one is having a title with the department names. So what I'll do is in my title I'll just insert the department name. Once I do that, you see all appearing here, but I'll also drag the department name to my filters and apply an OK, and now what you see is the department name segregated by an and I can just enter the entire message here. And you get the message, and what you can do is just hide all the information from here. So just take out all the information and then you're good to go. You can just show the title in your dashboard. But there's a small caveat in this, and I'll show that. So suppose if I have a lot of departments, so let me just take this example where the star department is not the departments are not the star departments for the particular period. If you see the way this message comes is it shows that the first three data points, and then it starts showing aggregating the data and one more or two more or three more. So that is just one small thing which I wanted to mention. In certain cases this will be useful. You may still want to go ahead with using this because it's so easy to use, but in other cases you may require a more targeted solution to show all the data which you want to. So for that, I'll go to the next solution, which I have already mentioned is a bit more complicated and uses table calculations, and we'll go step by step looking at it. Let me start by unhiding the department names. Now for this table calculation, I would require three functions. First one is the index. Let me make it discrete. And the reason index is required is because if the index is greater than 1 is when I'll be appending the department names. If it's 1, then there's only one department and I do not need to go through this appending calculation. The next one is last. And what last does is, depending on, of course, your partitioning and your direction fields, the last row in your partition is given a value of 0. So in this case, I'll require last for two things. One is to decide whether I want to put a comma between my department names or an and the next one is I think the next one is a little more complicated, and I'll tell you once I do it. The third and the final table calculation function which I would require is a previous value, and intuitively why this is required is very simple, because I am going to append, right, based on the previous row. So you need to have the previous value in your current context to get that calculation working. So let me see what is the issue. Okay, I missed a bracket. Okay, so all is set. I will now get going with the calculation. I think it will be easier if I write the calculation first and then explain. So let me do that. I don't need an F. Get the previous value of the department name, plus I'll check if the index is greater than 1, then I'll again check if my last is greater than 0. Then if it's greater than 0, I'll be putting a comma plus the department name, else I would just put an and plus the, so I'm still in the if statement of the last function, department name. We'll end this if statement and I'll end the other if statement as well, and I'm getting errors. Let me check what it is. Okay, so that's a big calculation, and I'll explain this calculation once. Let me drag this calculation and see whether it is giving me the intended result or not. It is not, so let me check what I did wrong. Previous value, the department name, if index is greater than 1, then if last is greater than 0, then I want to be should have been good. Okay, I just missed the else statement here. Okay, great. So now we have our intended message. So of course we will not be showing the first three rows, we'll just be showing the last row. And what this calculation is doing is it is taking the previous value of the department name and it is checking for the index value. If the index is greater than 1, then only it'll append, otherwise there's nothing to append. It'll just show a blank after the data, I mean the department name. Also, there's an additional check for the value of the last function. If it's greater than 0, like in this rows, the first three rows, then we will be appending the department name with a comma and then the department name for the current row. As you can see, it's what happening here. Else is the last row, where we do not need a comma because it is the last row, and we will be appending the department name for the last row with an and that's it. That's the calculation. So I'll highly encourage you to repeat this video multiple times to understand this calculation. Table calculation sometimes could be a bit complicated and needs a little more of practice, so hopefully you will get there. So now the last thing, so I'll not need this previous value and this indexes for this one because they are already incorporated in my text message. The one last thing is to only show this last row, and that will be done using the last function. So you know that the last row is always characterized by a 0. So that's what I'm going to do. I'll just filter on the 0, and if you see now I have the value or the text message which I wanted. I will remove all of the data points from the view so that I can just show the text message. Okay, I think we are good. So now let me go to my dashboard, part of which I have already built, and first let me drag the static part of the text message, which is going to be something which I have been typing from day 1 of this video series. Okay, let me just make it a little bit bigger and bolder. Okay, now spelling mistakes, let me correct it. Okay, and then the department names. Let me just hide the title. And okay, I think I'll just go back and make this text message a little bit more colorful, because it is going to be my most important information in the dashboard, so it has to shine out. So okay, I think now we have the header message, and also we have with that a detailed view of the reviews for every department as well. So a perfect recipe for a nice storytelling dashboard. So that's it from my side from this video series. I hope you found this useful. Thanks for watching.